The man who wrote down everything with Cara Barbra Streisand is presently facing his hardest entries so far. After James is commemorating 25 years of marriage, Brolin and Barbra Streisand are up against their worst task, a terrible truth that made James take a step back from his job. He has even said no to a major $2 million job just to stay home. Barbra has been Streisand fought a secret struggle, one that has an impact on millions of women around the world. The stunning truth is the ailment they have is the #1 killer of women, killing more people than all cancers altogether. Think about this: on heart disease will kill 3 ladies, and stroke. That means that practically every 80 a woman's life is lost every second. The silent killer often gets away with it misconstrued, which led to terrible results for a lot of families. The issue is much bigger because women typically get worse care than men when it comes to health of the heart. Doctors so many misses the indicators of a heart attack, or they don't get the correct tests and treatments. This isn't fair. There is a name for this kind of treatment. This word came from Barbra's own movie, Gentle, which was about a woman who had to act like a man merely to acquire and schooling. Barbra was shocked and angry when she found out about this big different kinds of care. She understood that problems aren't just for aging people. Sickness. Asani thought it was a severe epidemic that affects women. Ophelia, who was younger than women, notably women from Africa. This pervasive systemic health crisis is the real reason James Brolin is starting at saying farewell to Barbra, but to sections of his own successful career. Hollywood people who work with James have claimed that he lately said no to a lot of money, like $1 million role as an actor. He did this only to stay home to there for Barbra as she faces this tremendous task of speaking out for health of women's shirts. His choice demonstration ply he supports her and her important mission. His choice is a strong hint that their own bank accounts, which they are now merging in a way that they have always kept in a way that goes beyond money. As Barbra supports this cause, the need for money for research, awareness, and there are a lot of treatment clinics, and James stands by her, ready to help with costs of this worldwide war in terms of healthcare. This is the hardest test they've had since 25 years of being married. The next chapter for James shall be his most painful guess. He gives his wife's mission a safe putting women's lives ahead of his own goals and job. It is a strong loving deed with a shared goal. Oh, really know how strong you are and fight. Barbra brings this important mansion. We must think about her own journey. Turned into a life full with challenges victories. Barbra Streisand was born in Brooklyn, New York, on April 24, 1942. Emmanuel, her father, was a well-known and renowned edger. Booth died when Barbra had a seizure and died when he was only 15 months old. His passing left the family with a lot of not much money, just $250 in savings, and they had to live with her grandparents. Barbra never met her father, but she later found a note he wrote in her baby book. I think this one is going to be special. This early loss of money battle had a big impact on her. Life did not become easy for young Barbra. Her mom got married again, but her stepfather was mean and once threatened her he would hurt her spirit. Barbra moved out of her parents' house. When she was 16, she didn't have any money and didn't know where to go, occasionally sleeping on the couches of friends, ancient CS, or even furry escapes in the summer. She had one suitcase with her, with tape, and just inside were 3 outfits, 2 pairs of shoes, and 12 records. Evan she did perfectly, going to school and studying in dinners and libraries. She did her job for only 75 cents an hour, making only $17 a week. She did it last by going to see her mother twice a week just in time for dinner, so she wouldn't have to admit she was dirty. She wore the same coat for 3 years, repairing it herself and even changing the color of it by dyeing it leftover stuff for costumes. This Timoford ship developed a sturdy foundation, freshness, and a keen sense of social issues, getting her ready for the Hollywood and her latter life being outspoken. At the age of 18 in 1960, Barbra was an usher at a theater, viewing the same play. more than 100 Sound of Music times. She learned every scene by heart and sang by herself at the theater before work. One night, a stage manager thought she was Anander when she heard her sing. He asked who she was, and she claimed she was auditioning without fear, even though she wasn't. Her shirt was already evident that they were determined. Twash was performing in a few days. 18 for a nightclub. Over the weekend, pay her twice what you usually do. Up until that point she had never had a voice lesson up to that time. She learned by singing in stairwells and subways, echoes, and sketches for testing lots of people. People often told her she was too zaid, she looked weird, or that she had a $1 million voice, but a 5-cent face by own producer. She still sunk that night. A river, and then a weird thing happened. Icon is afraid of the big bad wolf. The crowd stopped talking, and suddenly applauded for almost 5 minutes. Giving her, the judges gave them flawless ratings, which is a first for the group. She showed that talent did not have to look like a certain kind of beautiful. In 1961, she took a big risk and changed her name, dropping the second at cum. Barbara said it made her stand out. She preserved her Brooklyn accent and said no surgeries to change her features, and kept performing the tunes she liked from time to time. Her decision to take charge of her music and image, even when professionals told them not to, displayed her strong belief in herself. In 1963, her debut record came out on Columbia Records album. They only made 10 copies, thinking it would fail. BOC didn't have any not-hit songs, but show tunes and ballads, but it went against what people thought and sold in just 1 month. 150,000 copies were sold. Barbra had unlimited creative control. Power. She picked out all the music herself. Admirer. Even turned down a color cover and opted for a plain black and white shot that goes against all marketing advice back then. This album won her a Grammy for Album of the Year, where she famously beat Frank Sinatra. Some Grammy voters were really angry that she won, that he gave up. In her short accept, and she said, "This isn't luck. This is what occurs when you don't pay attention to those who don't get what you're trying to do." Then came the Broadway show Funny Girl in 1964. Barbra played the part of Fanny. Bryce missed an unbelievable 867 times. Just twos. Even when she had pneumonia, her voice could sing in 3.5 octaves. Songs were specifically written just for her. Showed off this remarkable skill. A sprinkler broke during the show and so ocked her, but she kept singing. Thathin enjoyed it so highly that the director did this unexpected incident to the show by Toth. It was during her time Infinity Girl that Barbra made a lot of stage fright, a dread of forgetting her lines, which later got worse following a concert in 1967 where she forgot the words. This fear held her back off the stage for 27 years, adding a humanizing, sensitive region to hear a persona that is otherwise brave. In Barbra was only 23 years old in 1965, secured a $5 million deal with CBS for TV specialties. The contract gave her full control. CBS couldn't change without her permission, and they didn't interrupt her songs with ads. Her debut special was called My Nays. Barbra broke all the rules. She began the performance singing by itself in the dark. It scared the network bosses, but 71% of the individuals who saw it that night were listening. She won 5 Emmys, and even edited a few complete shows herself. The director later admitted that I just did what she told me to do. In the year 1968, Barbra Streisand took off the Broadway theater and into movie history as the star of Fanny Bryce in Funny Girl. The same part it made her a star on stage. The movie became very popular and was the best the United States' highest grossing movie of the year America. Barbra did such a good job that strong she received the Academy Award for Best Actress in her first movie ever. Even more surprising, she tied with Katharine Hepburn. The only thing that ties it together is most Oscar categories ever. But her largest struggle was to make her first movie 1983. Yentl. She needed 15 years to get it made, but 12 studios said no before someone eventually paid her $14.5 million. to make the show. She worked really long hours, a lot of the time 20-hour days. She even put on a disguise in tight bindings, and led a crew that was mostly men. Some people in crew even made bets that she would fail, but she showed them all wrong. The movie made more than $40 million, even though Barbra still had to deal with being treated unfairly because she is a woman. One voter said he didn't want to vote for her just because she was a girl. At the time, only 0.5% of movies from big studios were directed by women. When Yentl Goth Golden Globes gave it great reviews in 1984, refused to put Barbra up for a nomination in the main directing group. They did not do that, created a one-time award just for her best director of a comedy or musical, a category that went away the next year. Barbra asked about this choice at ceremony, asking why she wasn't threaded to the rest. Her case, Becca may be so well known that Congress later used it, was used as proof that Hollywood is biased against women. She has always fought against gender-based violence, made her well known throughout her career as an early adopter. Barbra made more. In 1995, The Past, she was in charge of her concert special for HBO, and won the Der